How can we help young children begin to be numerate? What actually is numerate? This is what we're going to talk about today. Welcome to Grow Together, Learn Together. My name's Mel. I'm an early childhood educator and primary school teacher, and I'm really excited to share with you some of my knowledge and experience when it comes to raising children. Today I want to talk a little bit about numeracy and being numerate. Generally speaking, numeracy refers to being able to apply mathematical skills into the real world. So, for example, being able to read a recipe, count change. Maths, on the other hand, refers more specifically to what we think of as doing maths, learning how to add up, subtract, divide, multiply. So essentially, numeracy is applying maths to our everyday experience. Babies, toddlers, and young children can begin to be numerate. It doesn't involve necessarily number recognition, counting. It's really just an understanding of mathematical concepts. A lot of things in our everyday experience involve maths, but we often don't really think about that. Children can learn to become numerate even before they start to do higher order mathematical thinking, using formulas or doing algebra. They can begin to think in a mathematical way by introducing mathematical concepts like length, weight, measurement, amounts. That will help your young children to become numerate. You know, sometimes little boys line up all their cars. You can encourage them to develop mathematical skills within that activity by making patterns, organizing their cars into groups, possibly by numbers of wheels, or colours or types of cars that they have. This is categorizing. It's in a mathematical skill. Cooking is basically delicious science, and there's a lot of maths in there as well. Definitely reading the recipe and understanding what a gram is, but also just letting them mix, letting them pour, letting them play with quarter and half teaspoons or cups. They can see and feel the difference in the size and the weight of the cups and the spoons when they make those measurements. If you're out in a park or a playground and you climb up, tell them they're going up. You could stand underneath something and tell them that you're under. This is mathematical too. They're thinking about order. What goes first, second, that's called sequencing, and that's a really important mathematical skill as well. Of course, counting items and toys are really important ways for children to learn maths. Like we said, if you're categorizing, you could start to count how many of each thing you have. When you think about numbers, most people think about the symbol, what the number 2 looks like, the number 10. But this is really just the representation of an amount. So young children need to be taught about the amounts. Children learn best when they're learning physically, when they're actually doing something hands-on. So get out the toys and count them. Ask them to show you how many are 6, how many are 10. Count with them and encourage them to notice. Encourage them to see the difference between having 2 and having 10. This is how children learn about maths and about number. It's actually more important that they get a grasp of the actual amount that the symbol represents than that they learn the symbol really young. Not that it hurts to know what a 2 or a 5 looks like, but if you don't know what a 2 or a 5 is actually representing, you won't really be able to do addition or subtraction, multiplication or division. Using mathematical and numerical language with babies, toddlers and children is also really important. Just like we've said when we've talked about reading and literacy, they're building a vocabulary to help them understand and to talk about maths. They don't have to learn about kilograms, but they can learn about heavy, light, heavier, lighter, fast, slow, faster, slower, above, below. These are all mathematical concepts. It's really important for children to develop an understanding of those mathematical concepts, but not just an understanding of the concepts, but the context in which you use those concepts. If you are measuring something, do you say it's faster or do you say it's heavy or lighter? Children need to know what words actually fit into what situation and what action fits into what mathematical situation. This sort of mathematical exploration can be done pretty easily at home and inexpensively too. A couple of videos ago, I showed you some sensory activities. You can introduce mathematical concepts and language into those sensory activities. For example, with the water play, this is a great opportunity to introduce mathematical language and concepts. When we had the measuring spoons, we could have measured out the different size spoons. We could have talked about pouring it. We could talk about how heavy the sponge is when it's full of water and how light it is once we squeeze it out. The example that I gave before about lining up cars, you could use that for measurement as well. Measure how many cars you have in the line. See if you can make it longer or shorter. Can you measure how long your child is in comparison to a line of cars? These are all concepts that your children will really start to understand because they're already making a line of cars. If they lie on the floor next to it, they can start to talk about how tall they are and how long the line is. How many more cars will they need to measure themselves? How many more cars did they have to add on to measure how long you were against how long they were? These are the sorts of things that you can do when you're playing with your children to help them start to think about maths and incorporate maths into their everyday activities. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video interesting and valuable. If you did like this video, please hit like, consider subscribing to my channel, and don't forget to hit the little bell to get notified when I post further videos. See you later.